Where has Detective Gereon Rath disappeared to? Are Charlotte and Detective Bohm working together? Is Nyssen having Hitler over for dinner? We'll answer all those questions and more on this episode of Babylon Berlin Babble. Babylon Berlin.
Babylon Berlin.
Babylon Berlin Babble.
Babylon Berlin
Babble.
Jawohl!
Welcome to the Babylon Berlin Babble podcast. Babylon Berlin Season 5 has released 2 new trailers out. I'm going to break down those trailers to look for all the secrets that the show has in store for the final season. Let me say up top, if you're new to the Babylon Berlin Babble podcast, I'm a stupid American, so I warn you I'm going to mispronounce everything in the trailer. First, let me read the official press release on Season 5. Berlin, January 1933. With Hitler's appointment as Chancellor, the darkest chapter of German history begins. Charlotte Ritter investigates a series of murders of former frontline soldiers. Connections and motives reach back to 1918. A highly sensitive file has disappeared, one that sheds light on Hitler's time as a soldier in the First World War. It's politically explosive, and those involved seem willing to stop at nothing to get their hands on the file, not even murder. When Gereon Rath suddenly vanishes without a trace, Charlotte doesn't know if she'll ever see him again. In the 5th and final season of Babylon Berlin, loosely based on the novel Mordfeilende by Volker Kirchner, 8 new episodes illuminate the days between Nazi seizure of power and the Reichstag fire. Babylon Berlin dances its final dances, celebrates dazzling nights, travels to Cologne and Paris, and always returns to Berlin. A last gasp, first farewells. Babylon Berlin accompanies familiar characters from the night into the cold light of dawn. The 5th season is the final of a 10-year development. It took a decade to bring 5 years of German history to life with an intensity never seen before. After conjuring up ashes and dust, after days of gold, we now see how fascism prepares the stage for a dance of death. Nothing happens by choice. Okay, so that's the description. We're going to get into it. Obviously, there are going to be spoilers for Season 5. Let's go. In these 2 trailers, we see all our favorites. Rath, Charlotte, Graf, Miss Elilsabeth Behnke, Kettelbach, the Armenian, the Buddha Ganat, Lawyer Lytton. We also see maybe what I'd call our not-so-favorites. Detective Bohm, Dr. Volker, Dr. Schmidt, Anno, they're back. Plus, guess who else is back? The Wurst, Wendt, Helga, Nyssen, they're all back. Both trailers begin with the announcement of Hitler being named Chancellor of Germany. In both trailers, there's a shot of Hitler coming out of a building seen from a distance. The Nazis are everywhere. We see Wendt, and this is most likely Göring with him, who comes down the stairs and has the statement, "I will enforce the new political ideas without hesitation." And he does a Sieg Heil salute. Later, Göring shows what he calls a list of enemies of the national uprising. And the people on the list, he says, detain them. At a restaurant we've seen throughout the series, some brown shirts are causing trouble. But hey, this is Babylon Berlin, right? We've got to dance on the deck of the Titanic. There's a great shot of Charlotte dancing with Graf, something that looks like a carnival. Another fine nightclub with someone singing Zuash Zustab. Graf on stage dancing, having fun. We love Rath and Charlotte. They're finally together. There's shots of them looking happy, dancing at a fancy ball. This can't last, though, can it? The description said Rath was going to disappear. Maybe it happens as he gets on this train and he talks to a doctor. Gereon asks the doctor, "Was Hitler one of your patients?" And the doctor says, "Yes. The world needs to know as fast as possible who it's dealing with in Germany." Later, we see Rath at a table and people saying, "Ooh, the press will eat it up." Obviously, what happened with that doctor is important. While Rath is on this train journey, Charlotte's still working. She goes to a crime scene, takes a picture of a victim, but Charlotte misses her man. She goes up to Wendt and she says, "Where is Gereon Rath now?" Wendt replies, "High treason is being alleged." Wendt tells Charlotte, "If you withhold anything at all, I will hunt you down." You can see Charlotte's reaction to that. Later, we see Wendt pitch the exact same thing to the Buddha Ganat. Treason. Charlotte's going to do a lot of investigating. She goes to Dr. Schmidt's hospital. Elsewhere, things are really rough. Charlotte's roommate, Jackie, is seen with bruises on his face being pulled out from the place where he worked, that bar. Plenty of people are being taken, killed, put in camps. Graf is threatened by a cop. We don't hear the whole conversation, but the cop tells him, you still can, for now. Our other good guys, we have Kettelbach, the newspaper publisher Heyman, and lawyer Litton. They're in several scenes together, and it does not look good for them. The newspaper man Heyman, he says, I'm afraid this will last much longer than most of us believe. Of course, Miss Elizabeth, she's up to her classic secret missions, and there's plenty of shots of her. There's many shots of the KPD, the Communist Party of Germany, and this character who's been with us since the beginning, Dr. Volker. There's also stuff of the Socialist Democratic Party of Germany, and this is Wikipedia-level research, but after the rise of the Nazi Party to power, the SPD was the only party in the Reichstag which voted against the Enabling Act of 1933. Because they voted against it, the SPD was subsequently banned. There's a character from Season 3 based on a real-life person, Rosa Helfers, who was the director of the Berlin Women's Prison, and she appeared obviously in the Greta storyline of Season 3. In 1933, the year the National Socialists seized power, this woman, Rosa, was dismissed because of her membership in the SPD. Now, Charlotte, somehow her investigation of these murders is tying into everything, and she tells the Buddha, hey, this Dr. Forster, he had a famous patient, Hitler, when the doctor worked at the military hospital for the combat affected. And in both trailers, we have a lot of black and white sections that show Dr. Forster with Hitler, and possibly we see Hitler freaking out and shaking in several scenes. Charlotte later asks somebody for the Chancellor's medical records. Who else is looking for those medical records? The bad guys. We see these Nazis where they say, we'll find the files. And Goering tells them, the Fuhrer is depending on you. A big thing, the description talked about murders of people from World War I. Looks like other people who went to this military hospital for the combat affected are going to be killed. Obviously, that's how Dr. Anno Schmidt is getting pulled into this. But look at this image here. In this image, we can also see the Armenian. Remember, the Armenian and Dr. Schmidt got connected by the Armenian's traumas from World War I. There's also this character, Krajewski. And Krajewski, back in Season 1 and 2, he was a drug addict World War I vet, and he became a source, a police informant for Detective Walter and Rath. He did make a cameo in Season 3 as he sold birds to Charlotte's sister Tony. But it's bad news for this guy. His body is later shown dead. And we have Baum and Graf looking at him. So whoever is killing these World War I vets, they get him in the season. Now, in a welcome development, talking about Baum was introduced as a sexist jerk early in the series, and he was really rude to Charlotte. Here, there's a scene where Baum tells her, quote, evidently he wants to destroy all traces leading to the field hospital, and Charlotte replies, he has them liquidated one after the other. Later, Baum, who was always so mean to Charlotte, he tells her, your lives are in danger. Your name is on a list. You have to leave the country as soon as possible. Charlotte asks him, where should we go? Now, how did Baum find out about this? There is one little scene of Baum in an elevator with this character Sebald, who, if you remember, he's like Colonel Wentz muscle. He does evil things. And this Sebald says, we have clear indications that the communists and social democrats are planning a coup d'etat. So this is obviously a made-up thing that's going to allow the Nazis to toss out the Constitution. The trailer appears to have scenes of Charlotte and Gereon reunited. This one is important. Charlotte tells Gereon, we can't just kill a politician. Gereon replies, ice cold. Yes, we can. Things aren't going great for them, though, because in another scene, Rath tells her, we can't stay here. Now, Rath apparently has gathered a group of misfit toys. He's got himself, his brother Anno, a.k.a. Dr. Schmidt, the Armenian, and Nyssen's assistant, Wegner. And later, we see the Armenian dealing with dynamite. There's a shot where Dr. Schmidt tells his brother Gereon, his knowledge has more power than any bomb. Gereon's not doing too well. He's handcuffed to a chair like he's under arrest. Later, there's a shot which appears to show Gereon Rath at the Reichstag fire. Now, I've gone through all this, and we can't forget Nyssen, everyone's favorite pathetic multimillionaire, so brilliantly played by Lars Ettinger. Nyssen, his life is a joke in every way. He's petulant one moment yelling for everybody to get out. The next moment he's happily shooting skeet outside his castle. The next moment he's miserable. And both trailers have shots of Helga lurking around every corner. at a fancy dinner party, this real scumbag tells Helga it cannot remain as it was. We need to clear out the dung. The elections in 5 weeks have to be won, don't they? And this is where I think Nyssen is going to have Hitler at his castle. There's a shot of Hitler coming out of a car, coming up some steps, another shot of Hitler at a fancy dinner table, and then later a shot of Nyssen at the head of the table doing a salute. Oh boy. Lots of trouble indeed. Can't wait for this great show to be back. Babylon Berlin will be out in Germany in September of this year, 2026. Here in the United States, Season 5 will be available on the streaming service MHz Choic, that's MHz Choic, in early 2027. Are you excited? If you're watching this, please give me a like, subscribe, go down in the comments, tell me your thoughts. What are you excited about to see in Season 5?